Okay, so now we're going to convert from polar to rectangular, which just means that if I'm thinking about this polar coordinate, we've got 6 pi over 6. It's going to fall somewhere in that area. So if I wanted to make this as a rectangular point, it's going to be a positive x, positive y. That's good to know so that when your final answer comes out, you do have the right signs. We could think of this as a right triangle. We know that this had a length of 6. My angle was pi over 6 radians. So if I needed to find the x value, that's my adjacent leg. And if I needed to find the y value, that's my opposite leg. So this is what you could do if you absolutely forget the conversions, which are up here in the top. We're going to take my a and h, which means I'm going to use cosine to find the adjacent side. So technically it would be cosine of my angle is adjacent over hypotenuse, but to solve for my adjacent side, we would multiply by 6. This is where my r cosine of theta comes from. So if we're thinking about cosine of pi over 6, that's going to be radical 3 over 2. So we have 6 times radical 3 over 2. And then to do sine, it's going to be the same process. We would multiply by 6. We would have 6 times 1/2. Simplify as far as you can. So 6 over 2 gives me 3 radical 3. That's the x value. 6 times 1/2 gives me 3. So this would be your final answer to convert to rectangular. If we're going to do the same thing for my second value, I would definitely recommend that we graph this. So here would be positive 4, negative pi over 4. The negative 4 flips it, so we really need to find this coordinate, negative x, positive y. So we're going to take r cosine of my angle, and then we have r sine of my angle. You don't need to write this out, but this is what we do every time. So then really we're looking at 3 pi over 4. So we know it's going to be radical 2 over 2, radical 2 over 2. If we're thinking in terms of what we've got, we know my x is going to be negative, my y is going to be positive. Simplify as much as you can. Negative 4 over 2 is negative 2 radical 2, comma 2 radical 2. That would be your final rectangular coordinate.